I wasn't prepared for it. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that I couldn't handle all this money. I could buy anything I want, go anywhere I want, do anything. You don't need anybody. It can affect you in ways you never dreamed of. I wasn't sleeping. I was always on the telephone. In those days, we didn't have the fax machine. That was later invented by the Japanese. We had telex machines that clack, clack, clack. And I was getting telexes in from here and telexes in from there. And it was wearing me out. One time I stayed up 3 nights in a row. At the end of the third night, I said, laying on my bed, I said, dear God, please take this away from me. I'm not ready for it. I'm sorry I asked for it. I can't handle it. Within 2 days, 3 days, maybe a week, I got a call from my broker, Howard Wilson. And he said, Sam, are you doing business with Marion Corporation in Mobile, Alabama? I said, yes, they're one of my principal clients. They owe me a lot of money. He said, well, I guess you won't be collecting it because they just declared bankruptcy. Well, a medium-sized oil company. They owed Superior Oil $80 million and couldn't pay them, and Superior Oil forced them into involuntary bankruptcy. That day, I lost $5 million. When the repairman came to fix my dishwasher, he said, I would be laying in the hospital if I lost that kind of money. I said, listen, you have no idea how relieved I am to be out from under this. Be careful what you ask for, because you are going to get it. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to answer some questions from some of you young men. I know you have questions. I'll talk about those things I want to talk about. I'd rather talk about the things that you want to talk about. Now, the ground rules are you can ask me anything. It can be personal, it can be professional, and I will answer it. But I'll allow for 3 questions, because I assume what one person asks, other people are thinking. Does anybody have a question? Nathaniel, you and I have had some chats. Nathaniel's heard me before. He knows I'm long-winded. Is there anything that I could tell you? I have no secrets. I have nothing to hide from you. I want to tell you this then. If you're not going to ask a question, I'm going to tell you something. Gentlemen, AIDS is real. I think that God has guided me down this path. In 1968, at Valley Forge General Hospital, as a young captain, I believe that I met the first person who was infected with AIDS, Captain Richard Jackson. I went off from Valley Forge to the career course into Vietnam, got hit in Vietnam, came back to Valley Forge General Hospital a year later. This boy went from 190 pounds down to 80 pounds in the VA hospital. In those days, we didn't know anything about AIDS. Now, I'm not going to say how he contracted this. There are a lot of rumors about the government having infected, like the Tuskegee experiment with syphilis. But let me tell you this, gentlemen. If you filled Houston Astrodome with black people and you asked 2 out of every 5 to leave, the 3 that stayed would have HIV. You understand what I'm telling you? You are in for a horrendous future if you're not totally careful. And I'm going to tell you something else quickly. In 1950, there were 6 sexually transmitted diseases. Today, there are 26. There are diseases that you do not even hear about that can make your life more miserable than AIDS. In one high school, 60% of the young ladies have had a venereal disease. 60%, according to one of the instructors, told me this. We've got to get real with this. Be very careful with your manhood. It's all you have. When you leave this room, you make up in your mind that you're going to command the respect not of those people above you, not of those people beneath you, but the people who are right next to you. How your peers view you now will determine how they're going to treat you in the future. Some of you in here are going to be senior executives. You're going to be in a position to hire people or to recommend people. You've got all kinds of opportunities. There was a man that I knew in college. He was a basketball player, star basketball player. When I was at Atlantic Richfield Oil Company in New York on the 12th floor of the Corning Glass building, his resume came across my desk, and I called him to come in. And when he came in, at first he was very professional, and then he went back to our old college way. And I realized then that he was silly. He was silly back in college, he's still silly. So I didn't hire him. Sent him a letter saying, I'm sorry, the position's been filled. How you act now is going to determine what people think about you in the future. Be careful with this stuff. Thank you very much.
Yeah. One question for you, Dr. I know there's some young entrepreneurs on the team. Do you have any advice for them how to get started as young men, high school men, like 7?
Good. That's a very good question. How to get started in being an entrepreneur? The first thing in anything, whether it's an entrepreneur or whether you want to be a doctor, doesn't matter what you want to do. The first place you've got to start is between your ears. Whatever it is you want to be that now. Don't wait until you get a PhD, or don't wait until you... Be that now. What does that really mean? It means conducting yourself in a way that says, I am what I say I am. If you want to be a movie producer, start producing movies now. You say, well, I don't have a camera. If you always start out with what I don't have, you'll never have. What you have, and believe me, this is what everyone has. And what we don't realize, everyone has the same magic. I call it magic for want of a better word. How you operate. How do things become real? How did this building get up? We say, oh, they brought in some engineers, they got some plans, they got some builders, they got cement, and no. This building is simply a reflection of someone's internal image. What they thought became a reality. That's how everything in life becomes a reality. Now let me tell you quickly how you function. Every human being functions the same. That's why I don't pay attention to color. That's why I don't pay any attention to racism. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You cannot stop me. Not because I'm anybody or powerful. It's because I understand how things function, and you can't get between me and that understanding. How do they function? Your subconscious mind, which everyone has, is your connection to the universe. The universe has everything. Everything that you want. This podium became real, but it existed before it was wood. The only difference between me and this podium is our molecular makeup. Whatever you want in life is already given to you. You already have it. It may not have manifested itself, but because you don't yet know how to manifest it. Now, the reason you don't get what you ask for is because you keep changing your mind as to what you want. Decide what you're going to be and be that. Now, does that mean decide what you want to be in terms of being a lawyer or a doctor? No. Those are vehicles. Decide how you want to live your life. What kind of person do you want to be? How do you want people to view you? Decide what you want, how you want to live, what lifestyle. Now here's something else I want to tell you, and this is very, very important. Dream big. The reason most of us can't realize our dreams is because they're too small for anybody else to get into. One of the things my cousin up in Cincinnati told me, he said, listen, he said, you're going to need millions of dollars to roll out this. We developed an anti-AIDS product. I can tell you now, if I'd have known in 1995 how much heck I was going to catch in trying to get this product globalized, I'd have gone to do something else. We developed a product name called Genvice. I've talked to Mr. LeGrand about it. This is an anti-AIDS product, and this will block HIV. We've tested against some of the toughest viruses in the world. Who tested it? Not me. I can barely give you the components of water. So it's not up to me. But I did have the China Academy of Medicine on my side. And they helped develop this drug. And they did the testing, and they did the approvals. I'm catching a lot of devil from the people here, though, blocking this product. Telephones tapped, emails intercepted, a lot of problems. In court, that sort of thing. But you go through things. But getting back to you, if you want to be an entrepreneur, be one today. Not necessarily what business you want to go into, decide what you want as an end result. You see, as black people, we're taught that money is evil. No, it's not. Try and do anything without it. Try and do anything without it. I've got a non-profit organization I started in 2005. We can't do anything without money. I can go in and tell them, look, we're an Africa AIDS Fund. They said, boy, that's great. We sure admire you. This will cost X number of dollars. That's the way life is. But make up in your mind what you want to be and start today. Don't worry about the mechanism. Don't worry about, well, now, how do you form a corporation? Well, how do you divide the stock? What's the difference between Class A, Class B stock? What is subordinated debt? These are things you'll learn. One of the things I want to tell you about being anything is learn the vocabulary. If you can't speak the language, you're dead. You go in a meeting and sit down and they start talking about things that you don't know anything about and you haven't prepared yourself, you'll walk out of there without what you want. But if you can speak the language, even if you don't exactly know what it means, you're out in front. You can't imagine how many meetings I sat through in China and did not speak one word of Chinese. But I sat there, I was attentive, I was polite, and I've gotten a long way in China, not because I came in with all the money, but I came in with the attitude. I never pass up a chance to show respect to the Chinese. When we came to the elevator, I let the Chinese go first. When it came to open the door, I opened thus and so. I made myself a good guest. The last thing I'll tell you is, you want to be an entrepreneur, develop the right attitude. Attitude is everything. You give me a straight A student with a bad attitude or a straight D student with a great attitude, I can do something with that straight D student. And you give me a straight A student with a great attitude, I can really do something. My point being, it is your attitude, how you reflect yourself. When you get up every morning, get up in a cheerful spirit. Say hello. Say thank you. Say please. Let these words come out of your mouth. I'll tell you a habit I've developed. Somebody can bump into me, I'm the first one to say, excuse me. Always be the first one to say, excuse me. I never forget when I first was an Army officer, second lieutenant in the Army, and the question was, when two officers of the same rank meet, who salutes first? The answer was, the gentleman. Gentlemen, be a gentleman. It will carry you further than money. Sorry, I probably overdid the answer, as usual.
Come up first, we have Ken Hudson, and next we have Stephen Branch following him. But Mr. Ken Hudson is the first, not second, not third, but the first African-American NBA referee. He was the first one to start it all. And to you young men here today, you're getting a treat, something that in lives may not ever get a chance to do. He's this special person here. He's also an accomplished author who has wrote several books, and he definitely has some great mentoring commentary to share with you guys. So without further ado, I would like to welcome NBA referee, Mr. Ken Hudson. Come up, please.
Well, I'll stand out here. First of all, good evening. Good evening. This one, I come back in my life, I won't be able to call. I come from a different perspective. So he mentioned about refereeing NBA, which is a nice gesture and all that, but I also serve as a consultant to the Patriots. And I do a lot of speaking around the country, motivational stuff. dealing with high school youngsters and college youngsters, and I've spoken